Let me start by thanking everyone for taking the time to join today. This is our seventh webinar hosted by us. And today we are going to talk about a special property. In a short span of 4 years, it has put Sri Lanka firmly on the wellness map. So they spent more than 2 years searching for this pristine location because they understood humans heal and thrive most effectively where nature meets intelligent, sustainable design. So it's none other than the Santani Wellness Resort and Spa. And it was selected as the best wellness resort in the world by Travel Plus Leisure India and South Asia readers very recently as well on the 26th of November 2020. Not to forget, being featured in the Time magazine, Condé Nast, and Vogue magazines as well. Tablet Hotels magazines also recognize the Santani wellness experience as one of the most unique wellness experience in the world. So right now, we have no one better to explain the whole situ other than Vikum Navagamuage, the founder and CEO of Santani, and he is also a committee member of the Tourism Advisory Committee at the moment. He would be touching a few points on why wellness is a necessity, the role of Ayurveda in wellness, a holistic approach to wellness at Santani, importance of well-being. So I warmly welcome and invite Vikum to share his thoughts and take over the proceedings from here. Vikum, so over to you.
All right. Thanks, and Diethelm for the opportunity. I hope everyone can hear me at this point. I'm connected to the audience.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first show a quick video, about a 3-minute video for anyone who has not been to Santani to get an idea about the property, and then I'll go into maybe I'll spend about 20 minutes explaining the topics that I'm supposed to discuss today about wellness and how it works and all of that, and how Santani approaches wellness. And I would like to keep most of the time for a discussion and question and answer, so that we can answer specific questions rather than me go rambling about a product. So let me start with the just playing the video. And one of the interesting things about this video is that this was shot around August, about 3 or 4 months back, since we started our operations after the initial lockdown. So as you will see in the video, we have already started operations. We have guests coming in pretty much every weekend. At this point, obviously, it's locals and expats who are within Sri Lanka. But we have gone through the whole protocol, safety protocols, and all of that. All of that is in place. We have been certified by the tourism authorities and KPMG as a safe hotel. And whenever we open the gates the airport, we are ready to go. Anyway, let me just start playing this video. All right. I hope all of you guys saw the video. Can I get a bit of idea as is it the audience is mostly Diethelm, your travel designers, or is it agents as well?
Yeah, we are from Sadhguru Travels. Most of us is from Sadhguru Travels, so we are from the travel fertility.
Majority is travel agents, and we have a few Deetham staff at the moment as well, Viko.
Right. Okay. Thanks. So I guess I mean I'm not going to go too much into the facts of Santani and stuff like that because Diethelm should be able to give you all of that. Yeah, we are located and the rooms and the rates and the basic stuff that's there. But I want to focus more on the wellness itself because with the pandemic, it's obvious that everyone is looking for wellness and everyone in the travel industry is looking for wellness as one of the starting points because wellness resorts generally have most of the stuff, most of the things that travelers are looking for in a situation like this. So I think it's more important to understand how wellness works from a Sri Lankan or from Santani's point of view, and how it differs from other wellness properties around the world, and how Santani can become a perfect fit for the post-COVID traveler. So to start with, I want to first kind of go into a little bit into what is wellness and why is it important that everyone is talking about wellness, and I've seen so many agents as well who are not promoting wellness before COVID is now promoting wellness, and we need to get a proper understanding what is wellness. It's not about just having a spa and getting a massage or having a juice diet or something like that. So wellness from a very pure and human point of view is the opposite of illness. So if you look at a spectrum, on one side you are ill, on the other side you're well. So the whole idea of a wellness resort or having a wellness protocol is to keep you on this side of the spectrum, which is the healthcare spectrum, and prevent you to going into the illness side. So whatever you do in that context is okay. It doesn't have to be regimented and say now this is how it's done. But from our context, we look at it as what? So it's essentially it's preventative healthcare. You're keeping on this side of the spectrum. So how do you keep yourself in a preventative paradigm and make sure that your immune systems are working well and preventing illnesses from coming in is kind of the key. So what we focus on is it's an aging issue. How we say it. Typically until about 30, 35, yeah, okay. Uh, you have you metabolize, and when you metabolize, you create metabolic waste, right? So essentially, why do we breathe out carbon dioxide? When we breathe in, we take oxygen, but when we breathe out, it's carbon dioxide. So somehow the oxygen we took became carbon dioxide, and then the body knows that carbon dioxide is not good for you. So the body has a mechanism of putting it out. So that's detoxing in simple terms. So carbon dioxide is a toxin, and the body knows that it's a toxin, and you put it out. Same thing what happens when we sweat, same thing when we urinate, same thing when we go to the toilet. Anytime we expel something from the body is detoxing. So detoxing is nothing to do with this whole wellness, or it's not a gimmick, or it's not some new thing. This has been happening from day one since any animal came into being. But then the question is, why should you come to Santani and spend $700-800 a night to get the same thing done? Right? So what happens is that aging. With the aging, what happens is this process slows down. Your breathing slows down, your sweating slows down, your urination slows down, your digestion slows down. That's a natural process of aging. Everything kind of slows down. Our systems slow down. So then what happens is all the stuff, all the metabolic waste that needs to go out doesn't go out in the same manner that it used to go out. So if you imagine, let's say until 30-35, you create 100 units of these toxins, which are basically chemicals that comes out when you metabolize. If you, let's say you made 100 of those units, that same 100 went away. But now what happens is only about 90 goes away because your systems are not working 100%. So that little bit remains inside the body. And when this happens, the immune system starts working as well. And over like from 35 to like 55, these things accumulate, and create a bigger issue. And that's how these chronic diseases come into being. But if you actually, once this accumulation starts happening, if you help the body to get rid of that, because the body is still taking 90% of it, you're just helping the body to take away that little bit. So when you do that, then there's nothing remaining inside the body. And then the immune system has nothing to fight. So and there's so what happens is it's like servicing your car, right? So when you every 6 months you service the car, and essentially you're taking the accumulations in the engine out. And when you do that, you can run a car for 20 years without any issue. But if you don't service the car on a regular basis, the car will die in like 3-4 years. So same thing happens inside our bodies. After a certain period, things start accumulating, and if you help the body to get rid of that, it's overall you create a better environment for the body, and you can age very well without going all the way down and hitting that wall as cancer or hypertension or something like that. You basically start going down, you clean it up. You again start going down, you clean it up. Start going down, clean it up. It doesn't never goes all the way and ends up in a big issue. So that's essentially what wellness is, and that's why it's important in this context, because we all know now with COVID, people who didn't make it were the older people and the people who had other conditions. Because when you have other conditions and you're really old, your immune system is very weakened, and because your immune system is fighting all these other issues in the body. But if you keep this cleansing process or the detoxing process, there's nothing for the immune system to fight against. So the immune system waits at 100% level, at most efficient level, and when something like COVID comes, you don't even show symptoms. So that's why it's really important in this context to understand what really wellness is, and go to if you're sending someone to a wellness resort, that they do. It's not just a gimmick. It's not that they're providing wellness just because there's a demand for it, but they really understand what it means and they have protocols to deliver that. So that's why I spent a little bit of time on that. And then so it also covered the role of Ayurveda as well, and coming back to specific questions, or how at Santani we deliver this. It's again primarily from a detoxing process, but as I said, anything you do to keep on this side of the spectrum is okay. You don't have to have a regimented process as this and that. You can. So we actually combine. So our philosophy comes from Ayurveda, but we combine multiple Western procedures, Eastern Chinese procedures, and many different things in delivering this. So for one example, I mean, as I said, one of the detoxing protocols is sweating. So in Ayurveda, you have these sweating chambers like coffins where you go into. And typically, people would say in Ayurveda hospitals or Ayurveda hotels, that's the only way to do it. But the thing is, for most, a lot of guests, especially Western guests, it's like claustrophobic. They don't want to get the smells or the lot of oils in you. But what really matters is sweating. So if you can go, if you are not very comfortable going into that coffin-like chamber, you can just go to the sauna. You can go to the steam room. You can go to a hot bath. We have a thermal bath, and these all comes from the western side of wellness, but they also had the same understanding. If you look at in Ayurveda, in the about 5,000 years ago, they understood the merits of sweating. So did the Swedish or the Scandinavian people when they invented the sauna. Because at the same time, completely independently, in different parts of the world, they knew the importance of sweating. So did the Native Americans, and they created something called sweat lodges. It's the same thing. So independently, long time ago, we all had the same understanding of sweating. So it doesn't matter how you do it. What matters is sweating, or what matters is breathing well. And that's where like yoga comes in, like pranayama and things like that, breathing exercises comes in. So you enhance the breathing process. Same thing with digestion. I mean, it doesn't have to be a Ayurvedic concoction to enhance your digestion. If there are other ways in your own places that you can do to improve your digestion, improve your urination, that's what matters. So it's very flexible in that way, and what Santani has done is we have combined all these different things, and we give you this idea so that it becomes easy for you to go back and follow, for your guests to follow, because in most cases in wellness resorts, what happens is you come and you do certain things, but you don't necessarily know what happened. You feel good, but you can't continue it when you go back because you don't know exactly what happened. But how Santani has done it is to explain it in simple terms so that it actually becomes a lifestyle that you can go back and continue doing. Then from just to talk about there's another important part that's going on because of COVID, this whole there's a significant amount of mental well-being cases, the need for mental well-being going through the roof. I mean, I think you guys all saw the video. You don't need to do anything for mental well-being when you come to Santani. You just walk around there and get the nature. You settle down, and the design is such that we have purposely taken away stimulants because this mental well-being essentially is slowing down your mind, stopping your mind from the thinking process. So we have purposely kind of designed it in such a way to take your mind away from any objects, but to focus your mind as a whole and its beautiful nature. So without even doing anything, you get into a meditative state and you start relaxing naturally. So all of that is there as well. From packages point of view, again, as I said, we have detoxing is one of our main packages, and it's like kind of the base for everything we do. Then one of most popular packages is also weight loss, and typically on a 7-day weight loss package, you will lose 7 pounds or about 3.9 kg. We have measured these statistics for the last 3 years, and the average is about 3 kilograms in 7 days, or 7 pounds in 7 days, and that's a significant weight loss. Then we have sleep enhancement programs. We have specific programs that we can create if you have any issues. Let's say you're diabetic, or you have skin issues, or you have something like that. We can create specific programs for those as well. Then we have a de-addiction program as well. We have a rebalancing program, which is both the body and the mind, and aligning them to be at the prime conditions. I think Diethelm has details of all that, what's included, what are the pricing and all of that. So I don't want to go too much into that. So at this point, I'll kind of stop in the description of what we are doing and what we are, and open it up for all of you to ask specific questions.
I'm I'm impressed by the figures, Vikum. I didn't expect you to come out or have exact stats that the weight loss might be this much and so on and so forth, because it's a bit difficult, right? Generally, from person to person, it might vary. So, but when you give stats like that, it's was that an average you mentioned, or
Yeah, that's an average. So it's simple. We measure when you come in, we measure when you go out, and I mean we have more stats. So we have base. We can give you stats based on male, female, stats based on the original weight, because it's hard if you're, let's say, if you're someone, your BMI is kind of in the 20s, which is average range, and at that point to lose weight is harder. Whereas if your
yeah,
BMI is high, it's easy. So like if you're 100 kilograms and like 5'6", it's easy to lose weight because you're kind of overweight at that point. But if you're 5'6" and 50 kilograms, it's harder to lose weight. So we have categorized everything into
yeah.
different, based on different parameters.
Is there anyone else who would like to clarify anything at this point before we could move further? We have a message from Shiraj. I think you can see it as well, right, Vikum?
Yeah. So Suraj is asking what is the average stay for a weight loss program. For the weight loss program, minimum is 7 days, but ideal if you can stay for 10 to 14 days. So the average weight loss I gave was on a 7 day period. Any other questions?
If there are guests who are not sure of what exactly they want, would there be any assessment or recommendation once they check in?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, a lot of people honestly don't know what they want necessarily. So even if they come on a, let's say, a detox package, because they think,
Pre-booked.
okay, yeah, they pre-book a detox package. Once
Mhm.
you come there is a consultation, and based on the consultation we may actually change it, saying like, okay, even though you booked the detox package, based on the situation that you are in,
Okay.
this may be the starting point. So anyone can come and we will basically create the package for them at the end of the day. Even if it's a, let's say, a detox package, two people come on a detox package, how that detox protocol works for the two people will be different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we'll gradually move on, Vikum, because it'll come when it comes to the food and stuff like that. I also can comment because I've been there a couple of years back. I'm not sure if you remember because you would have hosted many other agents.
Right.
But yeah, it was an amazing experience. So maybe when it comes down there, I could give in some of my feedback as well. But now, since in the intro level,
Yeah. So I mean, let's then go on. I mean, food. It's nothing much now to discuss, guys. The main thing, I think you guys already know the food and all of that. But yeah, let me touch a little bit on food. I would say, Santani is the first resort in the world to create a healthy fine dining experience. I mean, when we talk about fine dining, it's generally not healthy. But we have created a healthy fine dining experience, and our chef has been listed alongside with Anthony Bourdain in last year as one of the travel heroes of the world. So what and the interesting part here is, again, I mean, we approach it from a taste based rather than nutrient based. Typically, nutrition today, when you go to a nutritionist, you're prescribed, let's say, 100 milligrams of calcium and 20 milligrams of iron or vitamin B or something like that. But the fact is, you can't recognize calcium or iron or vitamin B. You don't wake up in the morning saying, "Oh, I'm craving for some calcium." Right? You wake up in the morning saying, "I'm craving for something sweet, or I want something sour, or I want this kind of dish," because our system, our bodies can't recognize nutrients or chemicals. What we can recognize is there are 6 tastes: the sweet, sour, bitter, salty, astringent, and pungent. These are the 6 tastes that we can recognize. Our tongue can recognize these 6 tastes. That's it. So what happens is, if the body doesn't get one of these tastes on a regular basis, you start having cravings. And when you start having cravings, you don't know necessarily what it is that you're missing, and you start eating something that's around you, and that you get into bad food habits. But if you actually give these 6 tastes on a regular basis to the body is satisfied. You don't need to eat a lot. You can give a very little, but the body becomes very satisfied. So that's the idea. So we have this whole concept called rasahaya. Rasahaya means 6 days, and we make sure any meal, essentially within a day, all these 6 days are given to you, and then you kind of, and if you're staying for, let's say, 7 days, it kind of ingrains in your system, and you again start to understand what these 6 days, where these are coming from, and you can incorporate those into your day-to-day meals, and you can cut down the quantities and have a still a satisfied meal. And also the important thing is, when you complement these 6 days, all the nutrients you need that are naturally coming to the system, because our systems are not designed to get our nutrients through pills. We are getting our nutrients, we are designed to get our nutrients through food. So what we need to make sure is the 6 days. Obviously, there are cases with other illnesses or other conditions that you may be deficient of a certain nutrient, and in that case, you can obviously take a pill. But the ideal situation as a lifestyle, that's not how it should be. So we combine these 6 days in everything we do, and I mean, we don't have menus as such as well. Everything is personalized. The chefs will come and talk to you in the morning, after dinner, and discuss with you what you would like. They will propose certain things, and if you don't like any of those things, they will discuss alternatives and create a personalized meal for you. Typically, the breakfast is either a continental breakfast or a Sri Lankan breakfast, but it's whatever, it's made for you. And then lunch is like a 3 course meal, and dinner is a 4 course meal. That's pretty much it about the food. I think we have covered pretty much everything. Covered the, you saw the property, the surroundings. Just to give a little bit of background on the surroundings as well, we are in the foothills of Knuckles, which is a World Heritage, UNESCO World Heritage Biosphere, and all the stuff that you saw, we are located in a 120-acre estate, and about 70% of the footage you saw was within the property. We have rivers, we have small waterfalls, tea, paddy, jungles, all of that within the property. And then about 30% of what you saw was in the surrounding areas, like the bigger waterfalls, and then the blacksmith and things like that. Those are all within like walk-in distances. So it's a very interesting area that's completely isolated and not well explored. So it's kind of virgin experiences. Uh, A lot of bird life as well around there because it's a biosphere. We have recorded over 300 bird species that you can see. Uh, we don't have air conditioning in the resort at all, anywhere in the resort. That's also a unique feature. But the thing is, we are at about 2,800 feet elevation, so you don't need air conditioning. But the whole idea is, again, I mentioned breathing out or the respiratory system is one of the detoxing elements of the body. So but having living in air conditioned spaces is the worst thing we can do because you don't get fresh air and the same air you kind of recycle within the space. So but the idea is if you want to improve your breathing, first of all you need to replenish and clean out the bad air in the system. So when you are in a place like Santani with it's like oxygen factory around you, it's 100% green rainforest, and you walk a little bit, do a little bit of yoga, you start naturally cleansing your respiratory system. So all of that, and it's really comfortable because in the evening the temperature is around 16 to 17 degrees. So that's I think pretty much covers everything that I have to say. If there's no specific questions.
Uh, just a quick clarification, Vikram, because I read in the website something about bonfires and I mean, which you have. So since I visited there, I'm like curious to know, like, where around does it happen or how does it happen? Like,
So that happens on special locations.
okay.
In the I mean we can set it up in different places. As I said, there's like 120 acres. Most of it will happen if you remember in between the pool and the main building,
Oh, right. Okay.
where there are some outdoor seating area.
Mm-hmm.
So but it's not like we have a bonfire every day. It's on special locations. If like let's say a group comes together and they do a retreat or something together, on the last day we
Mm-hmm.
might host a special dinner for them, drinks, and so we'll set up a bonfire there and people will be sitting around it and mingle. Or we do that like for Christmas Eve, for New Year's Eve, like that. So yeah.
Okay. And how does the walk around, like maybe the forest area or anything work? Now, for example, the meditation also happens in the same area where the yoga practices happen, or is there a way? I'm just asking, like, say, you can walk through the forest and find a peaceful area, and maybe your instructor and have like a meditation session there. Does anything like that happen?
Yeah, all of that. So we have a dedicated space which is the yoga shala, apart from the spa area, for yoga and meditation and that kind of classes. But as you said, the beauty of the place is in the outside, and we have multiple places, especially like down at the river. You can just sit on a rock and meditate. We can arrange yoga to be done there. There are little caves that you can go and meditate. So all of that is there and can be arranged.
Yeah. No, I totally get it that it must be hard for you to explain because once you go there, sometimes you don't want to. I mean, you see everything. There's, to be honest, no necessity as such to go so much into it to experience it because it's all over. Like Santani, wherever you look around, it's so soothing that sometimes you might, I mean, be lazy actually even to walk that way because you could see everything around anywhere. Everywhere is green, anyways. So that's what happened to me at least. So so which is why I have to actually ask you these questions. Even after I came there, I ended up actually even wanting to relax in the lobby area was something unique.
Yeah, no, the whole place is designed to relax. That's the primary goal. I mean, and that's the travelers at that price point. I mean, we are talking $500 to $700 a night. Travelers, they have everything. They don't need to go to some place to enjoy a good meal. They have a good meal every day. They have all kind of material things in their lives, but they lack is actually peace of mind. So everything at Santani is designed for travelers to really enjoy and have peace of mind.
And how so you promote that the experience you get or what you learn after coming to Santani is how to continue it once you take it back as well, or once you get back.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, how do you incorporate that into it? I mean, like, do you teach about certain diets or things which you can make once you get back home as well? Or, I mean, how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, like we actually talk about what it is. We talk about the
Mm,
philosophy and the science. So when you understand that, as I said, like okay, you understand. Okay, you need to just sweat, and that's simple
mm,
thing. How you sweat is doesn't really matter. So by educating the guests, that's like the primary thing where it becomes a lifestyle. But obviously, then most of the guests when they go back, they are still in touch with us. They can anytime talk to our practitioners, to our doctors, to our chefs, and they go back and forth to clarify anything specific. Anyone else asking questions?
yeah, guys, please feel free. Or, I mean, you could always type it out as well.
Vikram, hi, Jean-Marc here.
Hey, Jean-Marc, how are you?
Hi, how are you doing?
Good, good.
Just wanted to ask, one of the questions with Sri Lanka is that everybody has a spa, everybody has a health, some hotel or accommodation which has a one room and a spa. How do you define, and I understand how you're so different and see why you're so different, but us as agents, as people who are in the front line, how can we, is there an easy way to explain that, or is there a new terminology to say, okay, this is a hotel with a spa and this is a wellness retreat? How do we make it easier for the customer to understand and justify why it's worth paying the price I have to pay?
Right. No, that's a very good question, and there's a lot of confusion in the industry about that. So how would I say it is like if you take something like Six Senses, that I would say is what I call a spa hotel. I mean, great hotel. That's not the point, but more of a spa hotel. So and if you take something like Shivasam or Ananda in the Himalayas or Santani, we go as a wellness hotel. And the difference there is, I think, primarily if you can offer a curated program that addresses a specific need from a well healthcare point of view. So if you go to Six Senses, yes, you can do yoga, you can get a very nice massage, but you can't go and ask for a weight loss program necessarily or a detox program necessarily. Or you can't say, okay, I'm having some skin issue or I'm diabetic, can you fix me? They can't do that. But Santani or a proper wellness resort will be able to do that. And you have doctors and therapists who are more than just a massage therapist or a yoga teacher who can curate a specific program based on the needs of the customer from a healthcare point of view and deliver it.
So really, it's a difference between a spa and a wellness, and also the addressing the specific need. So I would contact you ahead and say, this is my need or this is my objective of the trip, and you would prepare it, or I just tell you that on check-in?
Both. I mean, I would say 80% of our guests have a extended conversation with us before coming. But then still there are other people who will just come up and say they don't necessarily know. And I mean, it will take couple of hours discussion to figure things out. So it's not that you're losing out a day or anything that way. So you can still come and we can curate a program for you at that point.
Okay, but I guess it's fun because if I'm planning ahead, I know what I'm looking forward to, and that's part of the holiday experience.
Yeah. And it's I mean, so if I'm going into that level of detail, what happens is we will actually send a questionnaire beforehand. Through this questionnaire, we essentially understand a lot about our guest. So there's a whole part called body type analysis because from Ayurvedic point of view, no one of us are kind of equal. We are all different. But in Ayurveda, they have created three major groups that people fit into. So pretty much most people will fit into either one of these groups. And each of these will have mental and physical characteristics that are different to the other group. So by sending this questionnaire, we understand what is your body type, or what in Ayurveda terms we call it the dosha, and then we know, okay, what's the kind of food that works for you, what's the kind of treatments that works for you, what's the type of activities that works for you. All of that we already know by the time the guest comes. So when the guest comes, we have going a little bit more in depth, and then focuses even within a body type. Let's say both of you, let's say two people come and they are both what we call vata. Vata is one of the body types, right? So two people, so it's vata, pitta, kapha. So let's say two people of vata comes together, and they both want to do detox, but it can still be different because let's say you're coming from London and someone else is coming from Singapore, and the weather patterns, their eating patterns, their stresses, their environments, all of that is different. So how these the environmental factors and societal factors and mental factors, that how they manifest within a person is different. So at the initial consultation, we will go to that level and then recommend something very specific for you. And that this is again what like a place like Six Senses can't do. You need to have qualified doctors and facilities for that as well.
Thank you.
Are we good? Anything more?
I think we are good. I mean, is there anything else that you would like to add on, Nico? Anything that comes to your mind? Something general?
Nothing specific per se from a Santani's point of view. What's important is also maybe one thing I would like to highlight is again from a post-COVID travel point of view. We all talk about slow travel and conscious travel and making sure we at the end of the day don't get COVID when we travel, at least in the initial stages of post-COVID travel. So there are a few interesting things at Santani that fits in very well. So like when you saw the video, you saw all of the dwellings or the rooms are separated. They are not connected to each other. So physical distancing is by design, it's there, right? So you don't have to worry about passing each other on the hallway and having a possibility of contracting something from someone else. Then the second thing, as I mentioned, is there's no air conditioning anywhere in the resort. There's no stale air. Every space is connected to the outside world. So there's always ventilation. There's no way, even if someone had it, that it's retained in a space. It will just get dispersed. So that's also very important in post-COVID travel. Then the third thing is obviously the food, because we are a wellness resort and we focus on kind of immunity boosting foods and stuff like that. You can get that, and lastly we have two doctors on site. So if anything comes, anything happens, if there is unfortunately someone needs to be taken care of, we have two doctors on site, and so also from a Sri Lankan point of view, where it's going for the opening. I mean, I don't want to talk too much about that because it's not confirmed yet, but it seems like you will have to be confined to a hotel or two within the first 7 to 14 days. So then it's also important when you're selecting a hotel for one of your guests, whether that hotel can create a program or experience that can last for 7 days or 14 days. Because if you're putting someone to a hotel and that after a couple of days, if the guest is bored, the whole experience is kind of lost. So it's important you all consider hotels that already has a program or can create a program or experience. So like what we do, but it doesn't have to be just wellness, but just having space. You can do like I mean at Santani with 120 acres, every day you can do a different walk that you haven't done before. So it's something new without going out. So these things also I think is important for us to think through at this point in designing at least for the next 6 months, 7 months until things settle down. Right?
Yeah. Very good point.
Raj has a question. Yes, we are KPMG certified.
Yeah, Vikum. So I think we are short on the question. So maybe there isn't much to clarify, or maybe, yeah.
Anything,
So,
anything, just write to Diethelm, and they will make sure that that comes back to me or someone at Santani who will answer the questions.
yeah, for sure, we'll do that. So, yeah, I think, yeah, maybe it's time to wrap up then, because you're a busy person as well, Vikum, and I personally really appreciate you taking this time to brief us. I honestly learned a lot from this. Even I hadn't looked at things in that way, like the breathing or detoxing. It's as simple as it sounds. I never thought of it in that perspective, to be honest. So,
No,
uh,
no, this is human nature, right? We don't appreciate things that we think is like normal.
yeah, but
We wait get sick, which is the abnormal part or the exception, to do something. So
yeah,
it's now it's actually it's normal human nature, but that's what we are trying to educate people why it is that we need to do these things.
yeah. I mean, I did. I mean, I was caught off guard as well. So, yeah, but more importantly, thank you for taking your time to educate us on this, to brief us, and for letting people to um, know how to get through to you or even through us. So thanks again. And yeah, I mean, we have all your offers and whatever. I mean, that in case they want, we could forward it to them. But what's important is the general information which you actually you spoke about now. Was that another question, or I
No,
did miss
that's
out?
yeah.
Super. So thank you, Vikum. Thanks again. Thank you
Thank
for your
you
time,
everyone
and
for your
let's be
time,
in touch.
and look forward to seeing your guests at Santani. Cheers.
Sure.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay. Cheers, Vikum. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for participating.